Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, like the chart behind me, which is of Plug Power, ticker symbol PLUG. And so I wanted to do a follow-up on this one from last week's video, which came out on January 16th, when price hit a low of $3, which is marked by this orange line here. Also, during that video, I did suggest price could be going lower, and I also had this line drawn at $2.84. Both of those having historical significance, so it did seem like they would be acting as support. And coincidentally, we do see that the close from Monday, January 22nd, was at $2.84, so right at that yellow line. And I do want to note that I am recording this on January 23rd during pre-market, and it does look like price is up about 2.5% in the pre-market. However, that could just be a little bit of a fake out, and we do see price opening up at $2.84. And so, I just wanted to go over a couple levels that stand out to me as potentially being either new support and or resistance that I added to the chart, and also want to go over some levels where I do think the price will be bumping into resistance based on this volume profile here. And so the one that really stands out to me is this volume shelf here that would really begin at a price of around $3.68. And so that's really just going to correspond with getting into the lows over here, acted as support then, going to be resistance moving forward. And we do have consolidation, to the left of that over here. And then, just dipping lower to lower levels of this profile does look like a $3 and around 40 cents. And $3.12 starts to act as resistance. So we might be seeing some pullbacks around there. However, if we do look at the chart more recently, from yesterday's price action, it does look like it is bumping into resistance. We do see what looks like a spinning top doji, where there's a lot of selling above the closing price and a lot of buying below the current price. So it does look like it's kind of in turnaround territory, reversal territory. So we might be seeing a pullback maybe to, let's see, around $2.65, 66 cents, where we see this little bit of a volume shelf. And also, I do want to note that there was a little bit of a gap between January 19th, so last Friday, and Monday. And so filling that gap would be right around $2.68. Which was the high and close of last Friday. So I do think we could see a little bit of a pullback, but I do think that would be healthy. And also want to note that when we did hit the low on, January 18th, which would have been Thursday, that low is $2.26.3. On that day, we did get a gap down from the prior day, and it does look like that was an inverted hammer, which one might think that is a bearish sign. However, with the green moves on the day, that does suggest that inverted hammer candle at the base of this downtrend, or this drop in price, does suggest a reversal, and that is what we saw. And, like I just noted, this doji here does suggest that we might be seeing a reversal, a pullback. So do prepare for that. Even though price is up in the pre-market, could just be a fake out. And so one of those levels that I've added to the chart, these two downtrending lines, one being the white one, which I feel like is a little bit more credible than the purple one, because there really aren't any breaks below it. I'm actually going to move the volume profile here. And so that white line is based on the low of May 11th, 2021, as well as the low of May 12th, 2022. So I think it's pretty interesting that we saw lows in May, so something to keep in mind for the upcoming May this year, 2024. And then let's see, the purple line is based on the lows of right around January 28th, 2022. And I believe this is also a May low, which is May 15th, 2023. So good to keep that in mind for May coming up this year. And so because the purple line did had some dips below it, I do feel like it's kind of less credible than the white line. But, it does look like Whether it acted as support over here or, is just coincidence, does look like it was respected as support around here with a little bit of a fake out. So I do think that is a level to keep in mind. And really, if we do revisit that level, I think that would be returning to a price of like around $2, just a psychological level, something to keep in mind. Hopefully, we don't see price dipping below that. And then this white line does look like it coincides with January 22nd's high, which was around $3.07. Again, $3 being a psychological level. So it does look like it is bumping into resistance there. So not really surprising. We are seeing signs of a short-lived, I believe it will be short-lived reversal. So that good to keep that in mind. And then this green line I added also based on historical levels like the orange and yellow lines. That is at $2.24. Again, though, could just be kind of coincidence that we did see a low right around that level. But I will take a step back in just a second to show where that line originates from. But before I do that, there's something I wanted to show you on the weekly, which is based on last week's candle. It does look like we had this, pretty notable bottoming tail coming from that candle. And also do want to note that this consolidation that we saw in this channel that I had drawn, looking at it on the weekly time frame, that does pretty clearly look like it was a bear flag. And so we did see a break to the downside. So if we do see consolidation residing around the $3 level or $2.84 level, these two lines, do want to keep in mind that that could be bearish consolidation, could be breaking to the downside again. So just be aware of that. But, I do think that it does seem like it has hit the levels that I was expecting at $2.84. So I do think that, the bottom could be in and we could start to see a rally, potentially testing the levels in the mid threes, maybe getting up to around $4 again. I do think that's going to be a significant level. But, time will tell. We'll have to see. And speaking of time, I'm just going to switch over to the monthly time frame so I can show you where that green line originates from. It actually goes back to 2013. December 2013, the high of that month was $2.24. And it does look like over the course of this time frame, when I drew these orange and yellow lines, we did get some support around that level of $2.24, but perhaps more notably, we saw that acting as resistance with a lot of price action below it. So, thinking about the current time frame, I do think that is a level to keep in mind. We do not want to see any closes below $2.24, especially if we are going to see a pullback the rest of this week. Ideally, we don't really close much lower than $2.68, get that gap fill in, and I think we can start to consolidate, but in a bullish manner, create a bull flag and start to break above this downtrend, and then start to, test $3, not as resistance, but as support in the coming weeks. I do think that might be happening, but, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.